南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛。We pay homage to our respected teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. Good. I hope you are all well. Okay. It's fall. It's autumn, right? We have rain for the last, starting today, yeah. Okay, so we continue to explore this book, The Way to Home. So this is still in the chapter of the breath. I think this is the second chapter of the breath. So tonight is a really beautiful, attractive, tasty picture. Yeah. Peaches from our orchard. Yeah, that must have been around 2014, 2015, 2013 maybe. Can't remember, but yeah, beautiful peaches, and nice and big and tasty and sweet and bugless at that time. Yeah, bugless, yeah, no bugs. Okay, the floor is yours. Your turn. You say anything about this picture. What do you feel about this picture? What do you see in this picture? How do you feel about this picture? No hands? Huh. No hands. Strange. No. Okay, Titania.
Thank you, Sifu. Thank you, everyone. Actually, today's photo and the one from last week go hand in hand in pair for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was very touched by last week's photo with the turtle, right? Turtles, the ground, and the water and the earth. Yeah, actually, it reminded me of the long time in my life. All the trouble, all the struggles. It's so hard to cruise on, and it's very difficult to walk. But actually, how to put it? I kept reminding myself to keep on walking. And there's a Chinese saying, 马死落地行. When the horse is dead,
Yeah.
we still need to
Walk.
with our feet, right?
Yeah, right.
By
Yeah.
ourselves.
We have to get off the horse and walk. Right.
Yeah, we have to walk, and even we might be able. We have to crawl on the ground.
Yeah.
We still have to continue.
Exactly.
It's life, right? We can't say no to
Yeah.
hurdles and
Yeah.
all the troubles. And I was so touched by Sifu's teaching because you reminded me of breathing, and that's the one thing that keeps me going. No matter how hard, I just breathe.
Yes.
If I keep on breathing,
Yes.
then I have the next moment. And this is one important thing to keep me hanging there,
Hanging in the air.
Reminder. And also breathing for me now has a second level. It's not just breathe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Thank you for the teaching because I kept saying thank you, Sifu. And then today, when I look at today's photo, it's like the fruition. So whenever we keep on going, we keep on breathing, we keep practicing, I'm sure one day the gorgeous fruits will bear on the tree.
Exactly.
And it will never be by the 3 triple jacks.
Yes.
That's the most important. Thank you.
Nice, very nice sharing, very sort of hearty sharing, yeah? It's really, she feels it herself, and so she can actually share, beautiful sharing. This is what I like about Tuesday sessions, yeah. Okay. Next one. She talks about fruits. Yeah. This is fruits. Yeah. Fruits of abiding, fruits of perseverance, fruits of, keeping going on. She said that one of the, we call slang in Chinese is when the horse is dead, we have to get off the horse and keep walking. I don't know whether you have something like that in English. It's so, it's so great. That slang is really, it's so so true. The horse is dead, and if you don't want to walk, sorry, there's nothing you can do, right? Yeah. Good, great. So, anybody else? No? This is such a beautiful picture and no comment? Yeah. Okay, Isabella, there you go.
Hello, Sifu. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hello,
Yes,
Sifu. Thank you,
yes.
Sifu.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay. I think like I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. I think it's the first time to see the fruit in the Tuesday. Like
On a
usually
Tuesday.
it's all the
Ah.
sky and then the cloud.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not sure. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, you are right.
It's
I think this is the only picture. I think this is the only picture which have fruits. Which really,
okay.
yeah,
Mainly about the cloud and then the
yeah,
sunset and
flowers.
then
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
flowers. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and then the first thing I think is so unreal. It looks like it's a oil painting or like something unreal.
Yeah, it's like a
Because
fake
it's so
one.
sharp, and then I can yeah, it's like a fake one, and then I can see the little hair like of the peach,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
thing like the little hair.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then it's so cute, and
It's so cute.
and then when I yeah when I see the fruit, and then it remind me of the kind of like a cause and effect, because like when
Mm,
like me as a normal person, I want to get the fruit, I want to get the result, but
mm.
like most of the time, 99% I will forget, like we need the water, we need the good weather, we need to
Yeah,
have
we need to.
soil, and then
Yeah,
we need to have farmer to do
yeah,
like pick all the weed, and then
yeah.
to have the put
Exactly.
effort to have the fruit. Like every 99% I will think, oh, I just grab the fruit, and then oh yeah, I enjoy the fruit, it is so good. But like it remind me to think backward, like
Yeah,
how like I mean like
the conditions that
why
bring
should
the
I have
fruit.
the
Yeah,
fruit? Yeah,
yeah,
condition.
exactly,
Yeah, why should I have the fruit? Am I deserve to have the fruit without doing all the work, and then
exactly.
without appreciate all the like the water, and then the good weather, and then the farmer and all the effort.
Yeah,
Then am I too greedy to just want to get the fruit and then do
yeah,
nothing? Yeah.
yeah,
So it remind me like to think backward, like to see to appreciate everything, like
yeah,
even little thing, even the ladybug or the honeybee, the
yeah,
bee just
yeah. Right.
like
Yeah,
doing the thing, and then
pollination. Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
even the yeah, even the little thing I should appreciate every
yeah.
little thing. Yeah.
Good.
Thank
Wonderful.
you, Sifu.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, it's good to be able to think backward, seeing the fruits there and not just take it for granted, and really start to appreciate what are all the conditions that actually bring fruits into your home, or on your table, or into your hand, or when you're eating it. Yeah. Yeah, moments of gratitude. Yeah, great, good, wonderful, nice. Okay, thank you, Isabella. Anybody else? Okay, Waifun, yes. Okay, there you go.
Thank you, everyone. I look, this picture is on the right side and left side. Right side is full, red, and I think that when I mindful, when I just sit there, and if my ideas is on the red pages, I will feel very steady emotions,
Ah.
some changes.
Ah.
Like this peaches is not in the full and perfect one.
Ah.
That's my
That's interesting how you see it. Hey. That means when you're actually sitting quiet and calm, the breath becomes so obvious, just like those fruits on the left-hand side become so obvious. But yet, when you become dispersed or distracted, it's just like the fruits disappear from you. It's just like the breath disappearing from you, and you don't see it. It's so wonderful. You see so many different perspectives from just a picture, from just the same picture we are looking at. So, yeah, great, good. Anybody else from the floor?
Good evening. So, as soon as I saw this picture, I thought how bold and how bright and how uplifting and how pretty. And that reminded me, when I thought of the word bold, of the very first time years and years ago when I first sort of started looking at Buddhism. And I remember thinking at that time how strong and bold and uplifting and pretty it was. I've since then realized it's also very, very subtle, and it's very, very deep, and it's not as simple as I first thought when the teachings are beautifully accessible,
Yes.
which is what gave it that boldness.
Yeah.
But the more I look at it, even today, the more I realize it's so complicated, so subtle, so profound.
Yeah.
But that was a nice way to start.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's the nice way to start. Is the beauty of it actually attracts you, right? It attracts you. It presents such a beautiful picture, and it attracts you, and so you're drawn to it. And that's what actually Isabella talked about, is the conditions. You have those conditions that attract you to look at these pictures, to look at these peaches, and you're attracted to the peaches. So you want to explore more about the picture, more about the peaches. That's the same with the Buddha's teachings, right? Yeah, you're attracted to. Then remember, we can't remember the sutta's name. It's talking about the 14 steps of developing our practice. From the first is you're having faith, and then you go to a teacher, and remember? Yeah, and then you're giving ear, and all that. You start to develop, and then you start to strive on, and you contemplate, and you dissect, and you analyze, remember? And eventually you give up, you renounce, you liberate it. So those 14 steps of development. So the first step is really having that faith. Remember, the first step is faith. Why is there faith? Because there is something that draw you to it, right? Yeah, great, good, wonderful. Anybody else? The mic is not just over there. Okay, Catherine.
Good evening, Sifu and everybody.
Good evening.
Sifu, when I looked at this picture today, it's more than the beauty of the picture that attract me.
Yeah.
But then, you know what? My greed already come. When I look at it, peaches, I want to eat. And mine will, I hope I can go to Bowlam soon and then get a taste of it. You know, it's just that it tells our mind, if we are not mindful, we are not watchful, and right away,
that craving comes, right?
It's so easy.
Yeah, but great that you knew that you had that craving. That means your awareness is really working at that moment. So, don't bash yourself, don't beat up yourself, give yourself a little pat. It's okay. Catherine, you're aware. Yeah. You see, Yeah, even just a picture can actually arouse the mind so much, right? Let alone what we actually see with our eyes and hear with our ears. Just a picture can arouse that kind of craving, and let alone, seeing something right in front of you, or somebody right in front of you, or some attractive woman or some attractive man in front of you. It's like, oh, that's the danger, or super danger, right? Yeah, great. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you. Yeah, nice. Anybody else? No? No? Nobody? Okay. All right then. Fruits, yeah, that's I don't know why I put that picture there, but I see this fruit is actually, I see a lot of impermanence in this picture. For myself, I see a lot of impermanence. Maybe because I look at that peach tree ever so often, right? Now, like 2/3 of the peach tree is gone. We only have like one branch left because it's, the wind blew it off, the wind broke the main trunk, and then there were a lot of bugs. And as I have heard from some of my old neighbors who have since passed away, they said peaches needed to be grown under awning, right? But our peaches is standing right there, open, no awning, nothing to cover it. But I don't know how it survived, and how it actually, when we first looked at it, when I first looked at it, that year when we actually looked at it, or when we actually took possession of this property just right next to the old property where we are building now, where in the orchard, there were so many peaches. But as the year goes on, this peach tree got older and older and got damaged, and maybe we didn't really look after it well enough, like our old neighbor used to. So it's sort of starting to die down. And I don't think we had any peaches this year. No, none whatsoever. We only get one twig. So next year we really have to look after it. So bring back the glamour of the tree, hopefully. I don't know whether we can bring back the glamour. But because I have been looking at this tree for so long, for like over 10 years now, so I really see this changing, this old age, dying, and sickness. And in this picture, it really reminded me of that, of those old age and sickness, and maybe not maybe, but eventually death. It really reminded me of that in here, even though this picture is so uplifting, so colorful, and so bright and so fruitful and fruity, but still it reminded me of that. And it reminded me also is when we have such beautiful moment, when we have so many peaches at that time, it reminded me now when I look at it, is that at that moment, have we really cherished those peaches? Have we really cherished? Have we fully treasured the peaches? No, at that time, no. Because we were very busy. We're always very busy in the summer with the farm, and a lot of times we forget our orchard. And we just let the fruits drop, right? Agree? Yeah, we just because we focus so much on the farm, on the vegetables and everything, and we didn't pay enough attention to the fruits, and we didn't pick the fruits at the prime time. I I was eating one of the apples that I picked about 3 or 4 weeks ago, last night, and it went soft, but it was still good. But remember the apples that I actually on Sunday I ate some of the apples that they just recently picked. They were all wormy. So if we would have picked those apples at this prime time, I don't think that they will have so many worms, so many bugs. So it reminded us. It reminded me that we really need to treasure their prime time. That prime time. And what is that prime time? So that passage to go with this is the only breath you can observe is the breath that is happening right now, right here. And not the past, not the future one. So that prime time is where, is when. Right now, right here, right? So when we were little, I always, I heard some of the elders that always said, in the human world, 1 year, but in the heavens world, it's only 1 day. Yeah. 人間一年，天上一日. So that's what the elders, used to say is the 1 day in the heaven is 1 year in human life. So when I actually started to learn about the Buddha's teachings, and I encountered Guan Yin Pusa, the Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, and in the praise hymn of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva for him or her, whatever gender you want to use, is 千處祈求千處應，苦海常作道人. So that means anywhere, anytime you ask for her help or his help, he'll be there for you. So whether it's day or night. So when I look at that, when I actually read that, and I said, wow. So that means he or she works very hard. Right? Anytime, anywhere, whatever time, wherever, right? Then I study the Amitabha Buddha Sutra, because when my mom passed away, I was ignorant. Some people told me what to do, then I did it. But it was a good ignorance. So I read the Amitabha Sutra every day for her, dedicate the merits to her. And it says in there, in the Amitabha Sutra, it's that infinite light and infinite lives. Infinite light and infinite lives. Infinite lives, that means longevity, very, very longevity, right? That's time. But here, right now, right here, is times talking about time. So this is all talking about time. So how long does it take for a bean sprout to give you a bean sprout? A green bean, a mung bean to give you a bean sprout? 3 days, 5 days? How long does it take to give you a baby? 10 months. Right? Of course, conception is like this, but he or she has to grow in the womb 10 months, 9 months to 10 months. How long does it take for a red cedar tree to become really a big, huge red cedar tree that we can use to carve out the Buddha with? Hundreds years, right? So that's time. These are all time. So when we were born until we die, that is time too, right? There's so much time. So when you think of it, that time doesn't stop. It doesn't stop, it goes on. Even sometimes during bad times or during sad times, you want the time to go fast, but it doesn't. And sometimes when you're feeling so happy and so elated, and you want the time to stay, to hold, sorry, it won't. But when you look at this is only happens in a mundane sense. In the supramundane, there is no time. That's why in the Amitabha Sutra, Amitabha Buddha Sutra, it says infinite lives, infinite times. Infinite light and infinite lives. 無量光無量壽. Okay? So, this says in here is the only breath you can observe is the breath that is happening right now, right here. Of course. The last breath is gone. No matter how much we want it to be back, you can have it back. And the future one hasn't come yet, because until this present breath goes away, then the next one will come. Then that future breath will become the present breath. So there's no way that you can wish for the past one to stay and the future one to come. No way. But that's be realistic. The one that you can actually feel and observe is the one that you are breathing right now. Okay? So it's this time. How are we going to use this time? How are we going to use this time fruitfully, meaningfully? A lot of times, a lot of people say, what's the meaning of life? There's no meaning of life, especially when somebody dear to them passed away, or when something that were very, very dear to them, they lost it. They said, there's no meaning of life. But really, meaning of life relies on others? Relies on the existence of other people or the existence of outside thing? Oh, that is really not the meaning of life. Meaning of life is how you live your life. That's the meaning of life. The meaning of life is how you deal with your life at this moment. That's the meaning of life. That's the own true meaning of life. But if your life has to depend, if the meaning of your life has to depend on the presence of others and on the presence of things or whatever, then that is a wrong concept. That's his illusion. That's his delusion. That is total ignorance. So, in order to live our meaningful life, we have to use this moment, present moment, fruitfully and meaningfully. So for us and for you and for me, time is very fair to us. Every one of us have 24 hours a day. Don't we? Goldie has 24 hours. The squirrel has 24 hours. The raccoon has 24 hours. The pigs have 24 hours. We have 24 hours. Time is fair to everyone. It won't discriminate with anybody. Oh, you will have less, she will have more. No. So when we live this life, how are we going to really treasure the time that we have right now? And what are we going to do? How do we really make full use of this present moment, even though we have 24 hours a day? You think about it. How much time we are really spending meaningfully in each day? Take a count. Laurie said, that little. That little. Yeah, really. And a lot of times we are actually spending those time like wandering mind and idle chatter, and even though we may be doing service, we might be doing some meaningful thing, but is our mind there? Is our mind there? Is our mind there at that moment? Is our mind there with this existence? It's actually so critical and so important. So if we start to understand this time a little bit more, then we will treasure it a little bit more, and then I think we will be happily living each moment more. But if we do not understand about this time, about this moment thing, it's very likely that we will forget about it a lot of times. Agree? Yeah. So talking about this time, there is this story in the Chan tradition. So somebody is being chased after by a very fierce tiger or a lion, whatever you want to call it. So, and then he fiercely just run. And carelessly he fell off the cliff. He couldn't stop. So he fell. But he fell, but he was like very agile, very smart, and he managed to hold on to a vine. Yeah, very thick vine. Hold on to a vine. But he was hanging in the air. Okay. He was hanging in the air, and he looked up. Oh, he saw that vicious tiger is up there. And he looked down, and there was this running, rolling river, very deep, big river, rolling water. So when he looked up, he saw that, and when he looked down, he saw that. Then, all of a sudden, he noticed that next to him, there was this wild strawberry plant, which have a few strawberries on there. So he was holding on to the vine, okay? So, what would he do? What should he do? What is your take? Eat the strawberries. That's very good. Everybody agree? Oh, Jaren doesn't agree.
You're in the middle of a life or death situation. You're worried about food.
Okay, and Jaren said, you are in the middle of the life and death situation, and you worry about fruits? Okay, so Jaren doesn't agree with eating the strawberries.
I'm the only one.
Who else want to say anything? Eat the strawberries, right? I will eat the strawberries with one hand.
With one hand on the bottom, and like,
Yeah, get the strawberries, eat it. Present moment, Jaren. There are like three choices, right? One is you look up, you try to climb up the vine and got eaten by the tiger, or you let go, you fall into the river and risk of dying, or you eat the strawberries and enjoy that present moment.
or you could throw the strawberries at the tiger, hopefully he eats them.
Oh, yeah, that is a crazy thought.
That's a crazy thought.
Yeah.
Eat the strawberries yourself.
Jaren has a very crazy thought. Jaren said, pick the strawberry and throw it to the tiger. Hopefully that tiger will run away. If you have the energy to throw that strawberry up to the tiger, I think you probably will beat the tiger. But anyway, so, that present moment, this is I tell you, this is a gong on, right? A chain gong on. So is there really a right answer, a correct answer? No. But when you talk about present moment, at that moment, don't be afraid. The tiger is not here yet. Don't be afraid of falling into the river because you're not there yet. But you are actually there with the strawberries. So just eat the strawberries and enjoy the strawberries. Because why? Because why? Whatever you are, if you're worrying about the tiger up there, or you're worrying about the river down there, it's all in the future. It's all in the future. But the strawberries are there at the present moment, just next to you. Okay? So that is something to actually you can contemplate on. And not to be, feeling regret and that you have not eaten the strawberry when you fell into the river. I wish I have taken the strawberries, So that's one thing that you actually need to think about, is really not to hold on to the past. I wish I haven't jumped the cliff. I wish that there was no tiger, right? And not worry about the future, or what happened if I fall into the river. That's in the future. But the present is, enjoy whatever that you can, or if there is no strawberries, try to find a way, think of a way to get out of that situation. But it may take some time, so the strawberry may be able to give you some energy. And sugar. Yeah.
So you can hang on longer.
Exactly. Now you have changed your mind, right? Option, yes. Yes. So you hang on a little bit more because of the sugar and the fruits, and give you a little bit more energy too, right? So, okay. So this present moment, this is such a beautiful picture. Isn't it great? You know where that is? That's Po Lam, one of the exit towers without the roof yet. They're working on the roof, and that was the moon. It was taken last month with a cell phone. Even the cell phone pictures looks very nice. This present moment, in the Heart Sutra, it says, we don't. What do you say? I can't remember. I can't remember the English words. Is you have no attachment, you have no fear, and you are. Kwok, come on. You recite the Heart Sutra every day.
Because there is a minute the Bodhisattva is supported by reflection, understanding, finding no obstacles for their minds, having no obstacles.
Say that there. Say that through the mic. Now you memorize, you see? You say that, you remember just now.
Which part?
The fear, what? No obstacles and no what?
Find no obstacles for their minds.
Yeah.
Having no obstacles, they overcome fear, liberating themselves forever.
And
There you go. Yeah.
and realizing perfect
Perfect
nibbana.
nibbana.
Yeah, you see? Very good job, you memorize. Yeah, 無掛礙故無有恐怖，遠離顛倒夢想，究竟涅槃啊。So in the Heart Sutra, it talks about no fear, no attachment, no obstacles, and you distance yourself from all these crazy thoughts and all these delusions, illusions. Why? It tells you to bring yourself back to the present moment. So this present moment is time. This present moment is here in this space at this time. And this present moment is now and here your mind, how your mind is, your mental state. And this mental state is what we should do is to cultivate, is to understand, it is to develop ourselves that we start to see conditions arising. We start to see everything comes together and everything goes. And that's sunnata, right? So this present moment is not the past nor the future, but here, right here. But when we start to judge, when we start to discriminate, when we start to interpret and everything, we will have left the present moment. Right? I once was asked a question by a monk. He said, what kind of people are you? I said, I'm Chinese. You know what? Right after that, I know I was totally wrong. I'm off. But at that moment, I told him I told him I'm Chinese. That was the totally wrong answer. I wouldn't have given that answer right now. Don't ask me what kind of answer I will give. It's my answer, I'm not going to tell you. So, when I ask you, who are you? What will be your answer? Oh, you have to think? Sorry. Sorry, no thinking. Once you start to think, you start to actually analyze, you start to interpret, you start to put together an answer. You start to use your sanya, your perception. And then that when you start to use that sanya, you have leave that area of sunyata. You have left, right? Yeah. So it's very difficult, really, to be at the present moment. It's really not easy to be at the present moment. But even though it's not easy, but we should really try it. Okay. So at this present moment, the meaningful, how are we going to really meaningfully live this present moment? So at any moment of life, when we are dealing with life, I think we need to really look at it from a few perspectives. Is right now, what is the most important thing to do, for me to do right now, at this moment? And secondly, who is the most important person at this moment to me? Okay? And third, when is the most important moment to yourself, to me? Okay? So maybe some people say, well, the most important thing is I become rich, and I've got a big house, I've got the fancy cars and whatnot, or get a big family, have children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, Think about that. Really? Is that what is the most important? Are those people the most important to you? Think about that. seriously contemplate on that yourself. Don't give me your answers, you don't need to, but I want you to think about that. And what is the most important is really being rich, being famous. When is the most important? Really? Next year? Next month? You know, a lot of times, I mean, during this 30 years of monkhood or nunhood, I have had so many people coming to me and ask me, oh, Sifu, you know, when I retire, I could come in and help you. When I retire, I could come and serve you. Oh, Sifu, when I making that much of money and put in the bank and for my family and for everybody, then I will come and become a nun. I said, don't. Please don't. It's too late. At that time, it may be too late. Why? Why is too late? Nobody knows. Right? Nobody knows whether you can really live that long to save $1 million for your family, or you really can live that long to be able to. At that time, you say, "Oh no, I have $1 million. Why do I want to become a nun? I can have whatever I want. I can, you know, no problem. I can buy a house and lock myself up, and I can meditate all the time. You know, I don't need to be a nun. I don't need to ordain. No, I don't need to renounce. You know, who knows, right? So don't talk too much about the future. It's dreams. Do it. Yeah. So every moment, something could happen. Something could happen. And when that something happens, are you able to fully utilize that something that has happened? Whether you think it's bad or whether you think it's good, nothing is bad or good. Everything is good for a reason. I see it that way. Even though maybe you are going through a very difficult experience, that difficult experience, why it becomes so difficult? Because you may be attached to some other things. So that's why you find that experience very difficult. Or you attach to some other people, that's why you think that, oh, losing that some other people is so difficult. It's all because of this attachment. It's all because of this view, this wrong view, this view that doesn't understand the importance of present moment. So if you do understand that present moment, then you'll be able to actually hold yourself, bring yourself back to this present moment and stay a little bit focused at that moment. Be a little bit more aware. And as Titania said, that gives me a possibility to go on further, to keep walking. So, you know, anything that happens at any moment of life, I tell you, is actually could bring a lot of benefits, could strengthen you so much. But it all depends on how you are going to use that experience from that moment. Okay, so for us in this body with this life, there are only two kind of actions that we do all the time. One is the doing mode. The doing mode, and a lot of times we are in that doing mode, right? Working, crazy, busy. And actually, you know, thinking about that, we think about that. We are constantly in this mode, almost like how many hours a day? And in this doing mode, a lot of times, we actually create so much stress, anxiety, and conflicts with ourselves and with others. Right? This doing mode is not necessarily fruitful, wholesomely, you know. So, and when in this doing mode, if we really start to create so much stress and tension and anxiety, and this will only create, actually bring on more and more, I could say, unwanted, unpleasant experience, unpleasant consequences, unpleasant results, or unpleasant relationship. But good thing that there is another mode, the mode of actions. It's a being mode. So this being mode is what we actually are learning to be, right? When we sit there and be mindful, we are being objective. We are being non-reactive. So we have a choice of how we are going to be like, right? Of course, we can choose to be like being bad, being angry. But if we are able to be aware and being objective and being distant from our emotions, rather than dive into our emotions, being inside the emotions, then we actually being distant from our emotions and just look at it. Don't you see that there's totally different picture, right? Right? Completely different scenario. So when we are just, why I always say, be mindful. Be mindful the way your body is, the way your mind is. And be mindful is non-judgmental. And you don't start to interpret, you don't start to interfere, you don't start to control or suppress or expect and wishing for. Your mind is just there, just being. You're just being with your body. You're just being with your breath. You're just being with the sensations. You're just being there. And this being, when we are in this being mode, and if anything that actually arises, for example, during meditation or not during meditation, but if you have practiced long enough, you know this deep hidden emotions will start to arise anytime they want. Anytime when the time is ripened, they will just arise. And if you are in that being mode, you won't be easily caught off guard by them. And when you are not being caught off guard by them, you won't just jump into reaction like that, because you're prepared, because you're in that mode, which have that space inside your mind between this reaction and this mindfulness. There is more space there. We are trying to develop this mindfulness is so we can have more space. That space of time, that space of space, so that we don't jump into reacting right away. If we are not trying to develop and cultivate this mindfulness, we are so close to reacting all the time, like this, constantly like this, reacting. But see, if we are like that, then you see, it takes such a long time in order to react. It takes I have to overcome this space in order to react. So we're creating that space. We're giving ourselves more space. So this 1 meter, this 1 meter thing is great. You know, or this 3 meters, right? 3 meters, 6 feet, right? 2 meters. 2 meters thing is great. Constantly reminding yourself, you have to develop that 2 meters space too with yourself. This mind. Here, not with others. Here. When we have that space, I tell you, that life is much easier. Isn't it? Right? You don't constantly being like submerged into your emotions and dive into your emotions and choked by your emotions, suffocated by your emotions. Right? That's why mindfulness is so important. And mindfulness can only happen right now, right here. Here. I want to share with you, this is the management of the mind. It's developing this mindfulness. So mindfulness in Chinese is called Jinglim, right? And in Pali it's called Sati. So in English it's called mindfulness. And this mindfulness doesn't really explain mindfulness very well. But I want to share, I'm not trying to influence you, but I want to share with you how the Chinese word actually explained mindfulness. It's beautifully defining mindfulness. So this is the first word of mindfulness, Jing. It means Jing. It's made by 2 words. One word is stop. This yellow word means stops. Stopping. Okay? And then the second word is one. This is one. Okay? This one line is one. What does it mean? What does it mean? It means is putting your mind in one place and stop it there. Stop it there. Just like what I said in just now in the meditation teaching. I can't remember what I said. What kind of words I used. It's just be here. Be here. Be here at this moment. In this body. In this breath. Just be here. That means you stop. The mind stops there. It sits there. Oh, yes. The mind is connected with the object of your meditation, and the mind is continuously there. When you are continuous, that means your mind stops there, right? When you're continuously aware of the breath, that means your mind actually stays with the breath and stops at the breath, with the breath. So that's Jing, okay? This right here, right here, right here. What to do? Doing what right here? It's this word, Lim. This means made up with 2 words. The first word is here. Here. And the second word is mind. Here, the mind here. Beautiful, isn't it? That defines mindfulness so beautifully. Right? Right here, right now, the mind is one-pointedness. That one is one-pointedness. Why is this one-pointedness? Because it stops there. It is stuck with that object of meditation. And I'm sure some of you have actually have experienced that in your meditation. When you're so focused in your breath, it's nothing but the breath. Your mind doesn't wander doesn't doze off, nowhere. It's there. That in that awareness. That is true mindfulness. You are holding your mind in that space at that time, nowhere. And at that time, there is no time. There's no such thing as time anymore. And you can sit 3 hours and as if that you have just sat for 1 minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes. That's why 1 day in heaven is 1 year in human life, in human world. Right? You experienced that before? So you see, this is why it's so important to train and cultivate and develop this mind. And it's so easy to say, oh, be at the present moment, be at the present moment. Yeah, so easy to say, but is it easy to do? Really so difficult, right? And even when I'm talking to you, I become aware that my mind wanders off. My mind wanders off. My mind wanders off to remind myself to look at the lights tonight because the lights lit up is on. That wandering thought, you see, my mind actually left that. The mind wasn't here teaching. At that brief moment, it wandered off, but I was aware of it. So that is so important. That is so crucial. So we need to actually manage our time very well. And of course, the teachings of meditations teach us how to manage our time, how to manage this time. So every now and then during meditation, we wander off. Like, come on, bring it back. So you remember to skillfully manage your time. But when you don't, when you wander off, gone to Turkey, gone to San Jose, gone to China, then that means you are not managing your time well. You're gone from this present moment. So that's why I tell you, the present moment is really, remember, don't say that, oh, this is what the Buddha taught, to be at the present moment. No, the Buddha didn't really just teach you the present moment. The Buddha said, be aware at this moment. Not just the present moment, not anything about the present moment, but be aware at this present moment. Be aware of impermanence at this present moment. Be aware of conditions arising at this present moment, at this moment. So they are more than just to that present moment. Okay? So if our mind is clear, if our mind is, aware, and if our mind is stable, if our mind is balanced, then we'll be able to enjoy each moment. But if our mind is so rocky and everything, then this mind will lead us astray. Then we will be eating our food, just eating, but not knowing what we are eating, not knowing what's the taste like, not knowing what we are actually full or not. Right? Because the mind is not there. The mind is not there. So when we are eating, are we really eating, or we are just eating? Remember when I teach your students eating the raisin or eating the mandarin orange? Just 3 little raisins. The kids could make out so many different experiences. Because why? The kids are so simple, their mind is so simple, and they can really just concentrate on eating. Eating that one little raisin. One at a time. You say, oh, this is chewy. The next one, oh, this is a little bit more tart. Oh, this is tart, chewy, but yet there's a sugary taste. They could be so detailed, the kids. The kids at school, when I used to teach children meditation. Because why? The kids' minds are simpler than our minds. You ask them to eat a raisin, they'll eat a raisin. And they don't think twice. And they tell you what their feeling is. So it's very, very, very important really to start early in life to really to be trained in mindfulness. So in this present moment, how long is that present moment? 1 second? 2 seconds? A portion of a second? How long do you think a moment is? This present moment is? Less than a flicker, yeah. Less than a flicker. It's really minute, isn't it? Even though when I do this, it's already so many moments have gone by. So many moments. It's just that we do not have the ability to actually perceive and see that. Because the mind is not focused. The mind is not one-pointedness, yes. So this present moment is really a really wonderful, wonderful moment that we can actually use. And this present moment is, we can use this present moment to stop right there, all our illusions, all our delusions, and to realize the truth. At any moment, it can happen. It can happen. So don't underestimate any moment the treasure of any moment. And as I said all the time is, every breath you take on, every breath that goes off, that passes on, we are one breath closer to our grave. Isn't it? When the clock starts to tick, we are 1 second closer to the end of our life. And that is the truth. It's nothing but the truth. So, here, this present moment is really not time. It is really not the time. It's really how you are going to use your mind. It's really not just the time or just the space. It's how we are going to use our mind. Because if we always think that this is just time, the present is just time, then we will, a lot of times it's very likely that we will start to dwell onto the past and dream of the future because we are waiting for the future to come. But if you know this is not just time, it is actually a state of your mind. It's how you are going to work your mind. Then you won't start, going back into the past and or dreaming about the future. Okay, so in the present world of psychology, they say that there are 3 ways to be present. It's very interesting when I read this, but I just wanted to put it out for you. It said the first way is called therapeutic presence. You know, this is when you look at it, is, you know, this scientists or this scholars or this psychologists or psychiatrists or whoever, they pick whatever they want from the Buddha's teachings and fit it into their professionalism, right? And make it work for them. But it's interesting to see how they actually defined or how they can make out different types of presence to be present. And he says it's called therapeutic presence. Is to let go of the past and the future. You know, the past has gone and the future hasn't come. So they said that it's really trying to bring yourself back to right here, right now, and stop worrying, and stop daydreaming, and stop replaying and all these past memories. And so it becomes therapeutic. It does become therapeutic, right? This is how they actually define this. It said if we could actually learn to drop all these characteristic moves, the world will become a simpler and kinder, friendlier place. That's what they said. So that's why it's called therapeutic presence. All right? And then the second one is called joyful presence. So it's to cultivate all the full appreciation of rich experience available in each moment. So example, like mindfully eating a raisin, or mindfully enjoying hearing a song, you know. So that is a joyful presence. But here, joyful presence, I think they are actually using this mundane sense of joyful presence. But I think that there could be a joyful presence too. When I talk about in the meditation teachings just now, is when you are continuously aware of your meditative object, the mind becomes so calm, so still, so quiet. Then there is this joy from your mind, and it's joy in your body, right? Piti and sukha. Okay, so that could be a joyful presence at that time. But here, they actually, I don't think they are talking about this joyful presence. Okay, but the next thing they said is a mindful presence. Then I think there in that mindful presence there could be joyful presence too. Okay, and this mindful presence could actually be a therapeutic presence. Actually, this mindful presence embodies therapeutic presence, embodies joyful presence, but the first two might not necessarily have this mindful presence, right? So this mindful presence, we talk about it the whole night, about what matters most is here, right now, right here. How your mind sees it, how your mind deals with it, how your mind acts or reacts to it. So of course the Buddha's teachings have great teachings about how we could actually to be connected to the present. I would just roughly say it. I'll just roughly talk about that. How to be connected to the present moment is firstly through the body, the breath, and the eye sees forms, and the ears hears, and the movements of the body can also be very good tools for us to actually observe and to be at the present moment. That's why they have particular meditation techniques doing movements, You know, they have a set of movements. I don't know whether you have actually heard about that. You know, they go like this, and they go like this, and they go like this, and they go like this, something like that. I've seen some of my friends actually doing this kind of movements the whole hour. So they are aware of the movements, but you know, that is a way to teach the mind to be aware also. And then the second one, of course, the feelings, right? The feelings could be physical feelings, it could be emotional feelings, and physical feelings is more tangible. While we are sitting, how do our hips feel, and if we are sitting on a chair, how do our bottom of our feet feel, and when we are walking, when we swing our arms, how do they feel? So those are all possible physical feelings. Or what about the emotional feelings? You know, when it comes on, these emotions, when it comes on, how do we feel, and how does it manifest in the body? So they're all connected together. So and then the thoughts, you know, watching the thoughts come up, watching the thoughts come and go, and see if we can actually catch the arising of the next thought coming up. So that actually needs a lot of very, very sharp and focused mind. And then the contents of the thoughts, of course, so you knowing the content of the thoughts, what are they, and how they change. So this is what I summarize is Satyapatana, the 4 foundations of mindfulness. Okay, so if you have times, you can actually go online to look up this Satyapatana Sutta. And I will just give you a very brief note on this. It says, when walking, the monk discerns, I am walking. When standing, the monk discerns, I am standing. When sitting, I am sitting. And when lying down, I am lying down. And eventually this I has to go. Eventually. At the end of the day, this I has to go. Walking, standing, sitting. There's no somebody. There's no you walking, no you sitting, no you standing. You're just walking, standing, sitting. Eventually you will have to start to let go of this I. And it takes time. Okay? So, the only breath you can observe is the one that is happening right now. Okay? Good? Nice? Yeah, I like this one. Anything? You have something to say? Or you have questions?
I have a quick question, if that's okay. I'll make it really fast. Earlier today, you were talking about something, you said sanya, and I think you were talking about
perception.
When we judge, interpret, there's analysis, and then you used the word sanya, and I missed what...
Sanya is your perception, right?
Perception.
It's perception, and then your experience from the past. When you start to see things, then your experience from the past will start to put you into that perspective of analyzing, interpreting, and using your past experience to examine your present experience. But that is wrong. Why? Because the past experience, though you might be in the similar situation, but totally new situation. But your past experience is the past situation. Right? So for example, when you see, when your past experience is, oh, you've seen this, oh, this is bad, this shape is bad. So in the future, you see something this shape, you say, oh, my sanya said this is bad. Then you immediately say this is bad. But it could be a computer, very useful. But your sanya already tells you this is bad. Because you remember it from your past experience. Or from your experience of the past. Okay? Good. All right. Any questions? Of course. Oh, you do. Wow. Yeah.
Thank you, Sifu. Starting with the strawberry and also your instructions about joy.
Joy,
Yeah, in the meditation. So that brought up two questions that have come up over and over for me.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is that even if I have the faith and the experience that joy is accessible here,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm very present, why is it so difficult
To have joy.
to keep trying? It's so a lot of the time it's like, oh, no, I don't know. It's too much wading through garbage. Like, so I think of it as difficult. It's hard to
Persevere.
it's hard to keep trying, which is connected to another question that I had about metta and how important it is to first have metta for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
To say, no, this is really important, and not because it's going to benefit anybody else, but because it's going to benefit me.
Yes, yes. That is a very good question. And especially as a mother, or as a caregiver, you're always constantly pouring out your heart to the other people. And you forget about yourself. When you come to deal with your own difficulties, you find it so difficult. Why? Why? Who is the most important person at this moment? You forget about yourself. I already answered your questions. The three perspectives you have to look at. What is the most important thing? When is the most important time? Because a lot of time we forget. We need to practice. We are the one who can practice. Nobody can practice it for us. Nobody. Nobody can do it for us. Nobody. Whether it's happiness, whether it's sufferings, nobody can take it on for us. Nobody. But because you're so used of giving out, you're so used of taking care of others, you constantly forget about yourself. So when you start to come here to deal with yourself, you're so weak. You don't have that energy anymore. You don't have that strife anymore. Oh, forget it. I'm not going to try. It's so difficult. But because your heart is always going out there. But for others, you can totally burn yourself for them. Because you forgot. You got it wrong. You got the priority wrong. The priority of life. That's why I always say to all of you all the time, what is your priority? Remember, I've said that many times to you guys. I don't know whether I've said it to you. Yes. Priority. Priority is very, very important. If you do not really think about priority, you can easily let go of so many opportunities. Let it just gone in the wind. It will never come back. Priority. Prioritize. Yourself, it has the top priority, I tell you. That is not selfish. Why did the Buddha said self-benefits and then you benefit others? 自利利他. Why? Why doesn't he say you benefit others, then you benefit yourself? He doesn't say that. Why does he have to attain enlightenment first? Why doesn't he just go and teach? He didn't need to. Why did he have to attain enlightenment first himself before he started coming out to teach? Think about the Buddha. Answer? Good. All right. Priority. So we will dedicate our merits. May these blessings extend to all, that we with all the other living beings together will attain the Buddha way. May we wish more and more people will encounter the wise words of the Buddha, study them, understand them, practice them, and help themselves to liberate from all the sufferings and be truly happy and to be truly peaceful.